It's a Sunday afternoon. It's about 5 or 6 p.m. We're gonna wait for a few people to get here into the live stream before we actually start, so there may be a couple minutes delay. I just ordered an espresso and milk. And it's pretty strong. So it might take a few minutes for people to start to arrive because it's Sunday here in Serbia and people usually spend that time with their families. I'm getting likes, but it's still showing 0 viewers. If anyone's here, use the chat. I could see 3 likes and 1 viewer. It doesn't make sense, but maybe the analytics are a little bit behind. So yeah, it's Sunday here, and it's a nice quiet day. It's a little bit rainy, so it's going to rain probably later tonight. It's forecasted to rain. I heard thunder today, but there was no rain today that I could see. Hey everyone. Alex Wave. Where's Bagala? Where's that? How's life? Life's never been better, actually. I keep saying that in every video and every live stream, and I know it gets old, but as time goes on here in Serbia, my life just gets better and better. Business gets better, you know, conditions get better for me in my life here. I mean, they've never been bad. But you know, when I came to Serbia, I basically had some cash and a small income, and I had nothing else, and I built a pretty nice life here. And you know, it's nice to be able to also help other people. So yeah, life's been good here. No complaints. They renewed my residency here without any problem, so you know, I think Belgrade police like really look at you a lot harder to renew your residency versus these small provinces in Serbia. So if you're kind of skating on thin ice with your residence permit, then I would move out of Belgrade. I'm trying to read what you guys are saying, but the screen is just so small. It says, Daryl says, Brad, you're looking great, bro. It's amazing to see how good the body can function when you're not soul sucking USA. Yeah, that is really funny you say that, Daryl, because I suspect the US is trying to like stir up problems here in Serbia now to try to like pressure them to go to the West versus Russia. So, just my suspicions. So they're exporting the soul sucking, which is not good. I was actually looking at videos of Russia where people put like a GoPro on top of their car and they just drive around, and it actually looks like a very nice place in the major cities. I know it's a hellhole and crap outside of the major cities, but so is America, you know, and so is, you know, I'm not gonna say Serbia, but you know, I've seen some not so nice places around here as well. But I was really looking at Russia because it looks like a nice place to live. Of course, I don't agree with their invasion of Ukraine, but, you know, I'm from the US, so, you know, who am I to judge? So, anyways, let me see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, things are going great. What's been going on with you guys? I haven't heard from you in a long time. So, I didn't upload a video for like a year because I was like working really hard on a project. And finally it's done, so I have some time. With my ADHD, it's really hard to like function day to day, let alone work on something really advanced, you know, so I can't be editing content and working really hard. There are gypsies. I don't think they're terrible. I don't think the gypsy people are terrible because they're not really violent. They're just annoying, or they do like small petty crimes that, you know, they don't like. I've never heard of a time where gypsies have like beat someone up for money or something like that. I'm sure it's happened, you know, but I think it's happened the other way around as well. But what they do is they pickpocket you in Belgrade, especially on the bus. They'll try to like open your backpack and take stuff out, but other than that, I don't think they're super terrible. I do think they need to get their act together and maybe, you know, stop asking for handouts all the time. You know, but they need to know as a culture, other people are not going to support them anymore. And when they start to go hungry, well, maybe they'll change their ways. But let me see what you guys are saying. Getting older. Well, learn to defend yourself. You know, if someone uses violence against you or threatens to, you need to use extreme violence against them. So, defending yourself is more like a mentality, you know. It's not how big you are or how strong you are. It's about how crazy you'll get. And if the other person calculates that you're more crazy than they, well, then they'll usually back down. But other than that, violence has broken out in Belgrade. You know, there's been a school shooting. There's been another shooting outside in a smaller village. And then there was someone beat up a bakery worker too in Belgrade, to a bakery I used to go to behind Parliament. So yeah, maybe I just got out of Belgrade at the right moment. But yeah, other than that, things have been going really good for me here. You know, I just got a haircut yesterday. Funny story, my barber, his daughter's like learning to fade hair, and like she's like, you can tell she's like very not confident, but she's actually a really good barber, you know. I thought it was like her first day, the way she was acting, because she was asking her dad to like check other people's hair and like acting kind of squirrely, but like I said, what the hell, I don't leave my house very much, and it takes about a week for my hair to grow out, so I'm gonna give her a chance. And I'm glad I did, because she gave me a really good haircut. And she's like, oh, can my dad fix it? Can my dad? I said, no, you're on your own. You have to do it. I thought she was like 19, but my friend said she's probably like 17. Maybe that's why she wasn't so confident. So next time I go in there, I'm gonna talk to her about displaying confidence in her abilities, because I think she scares people off. I almost didn't go to her because she was very, you could tell she was very green. She knew what she was doing, but she was acting like she didn't. But I said, well, you know, in the last moment, I was walking to her dad's chair, and I said, no. I said, what the hell? I was like, I'm gonna go to her. And her dad kind of looked at me like, kind of funny. But anyways, she gave me a really good haircut, and I'm really glad that I gave her the chance, because if I see her again, then she'll probably cut my hair forever and ever. Have you noticed if there are beefsteaks you recognize in the markets? I don't do my own shopping. I don't go to the grocery store. I might go to the grocery store and get something like a snack really quick, or like the yogurt I like to drink. But I have people that cook for me, so I don't go grocery shopping. So I don't know what the current prices are. I know that the prices are higher than they should be, you know. But other than that, I mean, you know, my little group here, we make more money than the average paycheck here, so it's still okay, you know. There's a nice restaurant in, well, look at it in the park at the top of the hill. Oh. So yeah, I don't really cook. I don't clean my own house. I just kind of let other people do that, and I just make money. So I'm doing pretty good. So what I've been doing recently is helping email marketers get past spam filters, and it turns out they'll pay a shit ton of money for that. So I can kind of write my own paycheck. You know, when I started, I didn't really believe in like digital marketing, because I'm not I don't know if I'm autistic on the spectrum or something, but I'm not susceptible to marketing at all. Like, and I had to like actually work with clients and then see what they're doing to see what was working. I was really surprised. You know, there's a lot of people that are susceptible to digital marketing out there, and I never believed in it. You know, whenever I'd get like a cold email or like see an ad online, I would run an ad blocker, you know, and just not even pay attention, because I kind of always knew what I always needed, and I always knew how to like research it and shop for it. But a lot of people don't, or they don't have the time. So yeah, I'm going to start contacting companies that have 50 plus employees, the marketing vice presidents, and seeing what I can do for them. But they have to be on retainer. All my clients right now are hourly, and it's a really, really high hourly rate, but it's like I'm very effective in what I do, almost too effective. So I make very good money, but like not as much money as I could, you know what I mean? So instead of working hourly, I probably will switch over to a retainer only model. So that's what I've been doing lately. So IT support, really, no one gives a shit about. So while I started out doing IT support, I came to the conclusion, like in the last year, that businesses, they need IT support, but IT support's a lot harder and a lot more sweat, blood, and tears than doing their digital marketing. Okay, so I've learned digital marketing pretty well, and I'm part of this group where this one guy said, like, this method is like very effective, to the point where I want to stop doing digital marketing for other businesses and just start other businesses that I know I can market, because this type of lead generation that we're doing is like super effective, and I agree. So if you learn how to bring businesses more business and leads, that's really the key. IT support is great, and I still do it, but I think I'm going to be transitioning out of like doing managed services and doing managed marketing. You know, so it makes more money, and it's just a lot easier once you get it going. Starting campaigns is hard, but once you get it going. Crypto, so when it comes to crypto, like, unfortunately, crypto for me is just too up and down, you know, and I don't have the brain power or the time in my day to watch the crypto markets as closely as you need to if you want to make money in crypto. So, you know, I'm not going to bet all my money in crypto, unfortunately, but it's too sporadic. It goes up and goes down, goes up and goes down. And if you buy at the high, you know, it could take years to go back up. So yeah, I'm probably going to transition to a fully digital marketing type business within the next couple months or year. Let me see what you guys are saying here. And I agree. I think learning how to get business leads is like super powerful. Let me see what you guys are saying. I think smaller cities are better. You're right. Quality of life. Yep, exactly. Public transport in your town. They have buses, but I don't ride them. If I need to go somewhere far, I take a taxi. It's literally like $2 or $3. It's literally $2 or $3 to take a taxi across this town. So, and the taxis don't try to rip you off here, because it's a small town, and like word will get around, and there's a lot of competition for taxis. So I've never, no taxis have ever tried to scam me. I never got scammed by a taxi in Belgrade. I only took a taxi once or twice, but no, I took it 3 times. I took an actual taxi 3 times in Belgrade, and I had good luck all 3 times. Once when I came into Belgrade during COVID, I took a taxi from the airport, and the guy charged me 2,300 dinars, which was fair. And because you kind of have to factor in their wait time, you know, as well. So how long has that guy been waiting, you know, for the next ride when no one's flying into the airport in August of 2020? Probably a while. So, yeah, that was fair. And then I got an old Yugoslavian or OG, you know, guy that had this old taxi, and he turned off his meter when we were like nearing the station. And I said, "Hey, why did you turn off your meter?" He's like, "Because I told you it was only going to be 1,300, and you know, I'm going by my word." I was like, "Oh, don't worry, dude. I was going to give you like 1,500 anyways." You know, so he was honest. I wouldn't jump in the Mercedes though, taxis, or the really expensive cars, because they pay for those cars, you know, somehow, right? So look for the older taxis in Belgrade with the older guys, you know, not the new Mercedes guys, unless it's an app like Yandex app or something like that, maybe. But I use Cargo in Belgrade most of the time, and I had good luck. So I never have been ripped off by it. I've never been ripped off by a taxi anywhere in the world. Probably because I avoid them. Let me see what you guys are saying here. I don't think Mercedes make the best taxis, you know. Maybe like a Honda or something like that would. What else are you guys saying? So what do you guys do in your lives? Let me know. I'm just sitting here at a cafe in Serbia, working from home, you know, building a little digital marketing agency now. It's pretty lucrative. It's actually really good money. Normal meals, it consists of meat and potatoes a lot, because like the person that cooks for me, they eat meat and potatoes. They're like Serbians, so I have like a Serbian stomach now, you know. I was joking that I need those Serbian work pants, you know, with the high-vis stripes around them, and then I have the gut, and then I just need the cigarette, and then I'll be like an actual Serbian, like worker. But meat and potatoes, a lot of chicken, sometimes rice, a lot of coffee, like a lot of coffee. Of course, my ADHD medication, that is pretty lovely. And that's my diet. Meat, potatoes, rice, chicken, and ADHD medication and coffee. Let me see what you guys are saying here. So I might start traveling. I just did a big project, and that went really well. That went really well. I'm really proud of myself. I can't really talk too much about it on YouTube, but it was a big 6-month project. It went really well. So the next 6 months are gonna probably go really well too. So I'll probably be in Thailand for a trip, like maybe by the end of the year. I want to go to Thailand for like maybe 1 to 3 months, and then come back to Serbia, because Serbia will always be my home. I want citizenship here. I want to make it my home base, you know. Like other people are like leaving Serbia because times are getting hard, and I agree. Like times, like they're not during like what they used to be. But if you move out of Belgrade, it's not super horrible either. I mean, if you're a party animal, then you know you probably aren't going to be a remote worker, because people that are party animals, they don't make it as remote workers. Like seriously, they might make it for a few months, but then they have to go home. So if you want to do remote work, stack coin, live cheap, get out of Belgrade. Let me see what you guys are saying here. What about tax? So, as an American citizen, I keep my earnings. Is this too? I'm just trying to see if it's too low, the light. If it gets too dark, let me know, guys. So, as a U.S. citizen, I just keep my earnings under $112,000 per year, and I'm not taxed in the U.S. So there's a misconception where I have to pay tax all around the world. That's true if I make over $112,000. The law is you have to file your taxes every year, but you don't necessarily have to pay. So there's ways to like avoid taxes. I'm not saying evade, I'm just saying like avoid taxes. Like if you have a trusted Serbian partner that's not a US citizen, and they were to set up a company in Dubai in a free zone, and half of your clients get invoiced from there, or all of your clients get invoiced from there. So for example, if you're doing services in the US and you have a non-US resident, non-US citizen partner that you trust that can set up a company, a UAE free zone, that company will bill all those customers, and then you can do whatever you want with that money. You can transfer it here to Serbia. For example, my Serbian firm can bill the UAE company, and for only the amount that is needed to operate for my salary, to my Serbian firm, and my payroll taxes, and maybe a little bit extra to pay for like internet and stuff like that. But if my Serbian firm never makes a profit, the only taxes I pay is payroll taxes. So, and then that's just one way you could do it. I'm not saying that's the way I'm doing it. I'm just saying, like, if I were to ever go over 112,000 per year and I didn't want to renounce my US citizenship for some reason, I mean, I really do want to renounce my US citizenship, and that's why I want Serbian citizenship so bad and so quickly, but I want to be strategic as well. So would it be easier for me to be able to go back to the US and meet with people and then do the work from Serbia, or outsource it to Serbs? I don't know. I want to keep my options open. I definitely don't buy into the US passport protects me or gives me more respect around the world, because it doesn't. The fall of the Karzai government, proved that. How they treated US citizens during the worldwide situation in 2020 proved that. I don't have trust that my US passport will protect me. So what does it do for me? It allows me to stay in Albania and Georgia for a year, and that's pretty much the only benefit to a US passport. And but another thing I found out is, as a US passport holder, the one benefit it does give you in Thailand is I can own 100% of a Thai company, and only Americans can do that. So as long as it's in certain categories, I can own 100% of a Thai company. I can issue myself a work permit there, and I get residency in Thailand through a Thai company. And through that, if I stay there for 3 years, and say I get my Serbian passport, and I could go to Thailand, set up a company, just shift, instead of billing from the Serbian company, bill from the Thai company to the UAE company, pay taxes in Thailand for 3 years and get permanent residence. It is possible to get permanent residence in Thailand if you do all the paperwork correctly and you do all your taxes correctly. It's very expensive to operate a Thai company because you have to audit your books every year. So it's not a cheap endeavor. But I'm just saying that's like one of the things that I could do it on a US passport. That's a benefit. But that's really the only benefit, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't want to answer anything about that's not Brad, because this channel is about Brad. It's not about anyone else. And as you see, like, Nomad Capitalist doesn't talk about, his wife, and Wealthy Expat doesn't talk about his girlfriend or his wife. But interesting thing about Wealthy Expat is, in one video he said he had Serbian citizenship and he held up a passport. And then in a video a couple weeks later, he said he's getting Serbian citizenship. So what I think he did, he's probably married to a Serb, maybe, I don't know, but he doesn't talk about it. But this channel is just about me and no one else. So that's why I keep it just about Brad. So yeah, I'm not an expert in business. If I was, I would probably be like a millionaire by now, but I'm learning, Serbia, because I'm here on a business director visa. Last year, the police were like, we're going to renew you this year, but we want to see you build your business, not just have a paper company. And so, you know, the government kind of here forced me, in a good way, forced me to learn more about international business. And in doing so, you know, I learned a lot about taxes as well, you know. So you have to be strategic, and I am. I want to build this digital marketing. I have, like, what you guys don't know, but like I have intellectual property, and I have different brands, and these brands are all like lead pages that all lead into my company here in Serbia. So on the outside, if you visit these websites, they look like different companies. They're just general names, but it's just a lead page with a contact form. And if they fill in the contact form, a lot of this WordPress contact form emails, they get lost or they get sent to spam. So what I'm doing is I'm using Zoho CRM to post the contact form through API to my CRM as a lead directly. So it tells me what the lead source, it tells me like the website it came in on, it gives me all their information. On all my contact forms, on all these lead sites, I make every field a requirement. So they literally have to fill out everything to be able to submit it. So like you can't really submit like junk leads to me easily, at least. And what's nice about it is they fill in all their information. It fills out everything you need to know about them and their business, and collect their contact information, and they enter themselves in my CRM. So before I was doing that, I would like work with a few people, and then I'd have to go back and enter all their information in my CRM. The CRM is a customer relationship management tool. It's basically like a customer database where you like can put no customers and whatnot. And I used to have to manually enter all their stuff, and it was just, I never wanted to do it, and it never got done. So I automated it. So when someone does a Zoom meeting with me and wants to book to discuss doing business together, what I do is they go to a Calendly link, and that Calendly link has different subjects in it, and I link them directly to whatever, digital marketing, managed IT services, cybersecurity, consulting. So they go into like a queue, so to say. They type in all their information, and then Calendly posts it to my CRM as well as a lead with all their information in it. And then if we decide to move forward and do business together, I just click one button in Zoho, and it converts them to an account from a lead. And then I have it integrated with Twilio, so if I call them on the phone, it records the conversation and it posts it to their account in my Zoho CRM. And I have like over 150 customers in there now. So they're not all active, they're just people I've worked with. Sometimes they're just one-time jobs, but they're people I can market to. Every one of those people in my CRM I've done a Zoom meeting with. They've seen me face to face, they've worked with me. So they, and I'm starting to get more and more word of mouth referrals. So it's good. It's not bad. I do a very good job. I'm very effective at what I do. I don't take any jobs where I'm kind of like on the boat, iffy about. So I only take work that I know I can complete successfully. So people like that, and I don't BS them around on the pricing. I say it's this per hour, and it'll take me 4 to 5 hours, and sometimes it's taken longer, and I haven't billed them a penny over because I said, no, this is what I quoted you. I've had people try to give me tips. Like, I was like, I'm not a restaurant server, So in my invoices, I tell people, please don't add money, because I've had customers do that, and it fucks up my accounting here. Because, like, for example, if I bill a customer $500 and they send me $600, I have to explain that to my accountant. I have to explain that to the bank here in Serbia. I have to justify it, like, where did that money come from, So the anti-money laundering laws here in Serbia are pretty strict, So I have to invoice. I have to then issue them another invoice for another $100. So I don't like when customers send me money I haven't billed them for. Let me see. I had this one customer that had this one problem where they had a very advanced problem, and I solved it, but it took me like 8 hours, and I quoted them like 4 hours of work. But I said, this took me 8 hours, I quoted you 4, but I'm going to bill you only for 4. And I billed them only for 4, and they said, no, we can afford to pay you more. So they did, and you know, they sent me $1,000. Of course, we you know, they told me that before I billed them, you know, but 8 hours of work, $1,000 isn't bad, you know. So that's the type of work I do. And my secret is, and this is the most important part of this live stream probably, is I make new customers book at least a day in advance. And if you're not a retainer client, all work has to be booked a day in advance. I don't take any instant meetings the next 5 minutes, or, you know, you're available right now, are you? No, I'm not. Like, you have to book a day in advance. And that's to keep out the people that are not professional. So the people that want to pay a lot of money and that are professional are successful, and they're successful for a reason, and they have a different mentality. The people that are the ADHD types that are unmedicated, that are like, I need this done right now. Like, no, you don't. This isn't an emergency. You know, it's not even an emergency to you. It just, so I've had only like 2 people. Like I said, here's the booking link. You know, all meetings have to be booked, you know, at least 12 hours in advance. And I explain why. I say I have worldwide clients, and sometimes, like, if I accept meetings the same day, what if someone in Melbourne, you know, like, they start their day at when it's 2 a.m. here, you know, in Serbia, you know, so like that's kind of crazy, you know. So I don't deal with people that refuse to book meetings. So if someone sends me an email saying I need your help with something, I say, here's the Calendly link, book for tomorrow. And they always do. And I've only had 2 people kind of not refuse, but they kind of stopped talking to me after I told them that. And I'm glad they did, because one of them came back to me twice. And then I just refused to do business with them because they weren't professional at the start, you know. They ghosted me when I said, you know, like all new, you know, non-retainer clients have to be booked. And here's why. They never booked a meeting. And then I'm sure they tried to go find someone else, and maybe they worked with someone else and they didn't do the right job, and then they came back to me twice, and I had to tell them no. So I keep out the hassles. Let me see what you guys are saying here. How do you describe your spare time, smaller city? I work all the time, or I learn. So for example, right now I'm learning Go High Level, which is a digital marketing platform. So I learned Zoho CRM very well, you know. I don't want to advertise I can build out people's Zoho CRM. I can, but I don't want to do that because that's not the niche I'm in. But CRMs are very important if you want to build a business, because you have to know, like, for example, I can click one tab and email all the people that are on my CRM. You know, if I want to send out, like, hey, Office 365 is down today, so expect some bounce backs in your email. It's not you, it's Office 365. Like, people find that information really, really helpful. So, you know, for example, I'm a member of the Reddit forum called sysadmin, SYSADMIN, sysadmin. And there's people all around the world that work in different time zones, and they detect problems faster than you sometimes because they're up at the time. And they post to the sysadmin forum in Reddit saying, hey, Office 365 is having some deliverability issues. Here's the Microsoft ticket number, here's the link. So what I can do is, everyone that I know that uses Office 365 in my CRM, I can just click and send them a mass email saying, hey, expect deliverability issues today on Office 365. Here's the Microsoft ticket knowledge base article on it. And a lot of people find that really helpful, you know, because they know it's not them. Let's see what you guys are saying here. A writer. So, I don't know, I think writing and copywriting is kind of dying because of AI, and AIs are like really good. It's not perfect, but it kind of gives you a good outline to kind of like fill in the story. I use AI a lot now, and Google has said that they don't care if you use AI in your website to generate like website text, as long as it provides value. They don't care. So, there's that. But what else do you guys have for me? But yeah, doing good, doing good. So, yeah, OpenAI is really good. I like it a lot. I'm gonna order another coffee. I'll be right back. Watch my phone. All right, that was easy. It's getting kind of dark here, so I might end this live stream soon. But does anyone have any other questions? If not, then I'm gonna go. Let me flip the camera, and then you can kind of see where I'm at. Well, Anna, I disagree because I have ADHD myself. I actually take medication for it, and what I noticed was there's a lot of business owners out there that want stuff done right now, but they don't want to schedule, and I don't want to work with those people. It kind of takes one to know one, Anna. And I've learned how to manage my ADHD with medication and time management. And a lot of people don't even know how to use a Google Calendar that call themselves business owners and executives. They don't even use a Google Calendar. So sometimes they'll miss Zoom meetings with me because they won't remember. But if they miss too many meetings with me, I get rid of them. Let me see what you guys are saying. What do you eat or drink in the cafe usually? Usually coffee. Follow. So chiropractors, I don't go to chiropractors, so I don't know. I probably wouldn't go to a chiropractor in a small town here in Serbia. Well, this is my channel. I'm very judgmental. Yeah, I'm judgmental against people that refuse to make bookings with me for business and don't use a Google Calendar. Maybe that hit too close to home. I don't know. I don't think I'm judgmental. I think I'm a professional. I'm not saying bad things against people with ADHD, because I have ADHD myself. If you followed me for any time, you would know that. I'm talking about the people that can't do time management correctly, or try to treat contractors as employees. And I'm not an employee. And I'll tell people that really quickly. I'm not your employee. I'm your contractor. Bagala, nice. Well, it's also about like cutting out the people that expect the most and want to pay the least, right? So the people that pay me like obscene amounts of money are the people that don't ask very much. But when they do ask something of me, I make sure I listen and I do it because I know that they'll pay me good. And then it's the people that want to pay you like $20 an hour, like you're some sort of employee or something. Really, I get people sometimes that think like I'm on the market for $20 an hour or even $30 an hour. And I'm like, $20 an hour is like almost minimum wage in some places in the US now, you know? And I'm not gonna be giving you a highly sought after skill for $20 or $30 an hour. But it kind of tells me like, that's why I do a Zoom with all my new clients. Is I won't do any work until they get on a Zoom with me, so I can kind of suss them out, so to say, to see if they're professional, if they want to pay well, stuff like that. Can I answer about AI? Fear we've jumped on something. Yeah, my concern is how long has AI been around, right? So someone that worked for Facebook allegedly worked on a program that was supposed to use AI to learn how people that died interacted with their profiles so they could copy their mannerisms, like on Facebook. That was kind of creepy, you know? Why would they be doing that? Why would they not want us to notice if all our Facebook friends are dying off? So, kind of creepy. So ChatGPT is very powerful, and that's the unclassified version. That's the non-government version. Imagine what the government version is doing. Someone posted on Twitter that they lost 50,000 followers after they allegedly deleted all the bots on Twitter. And they said that only left me with 50 followers. And so he said, I didn't even realize all my followers were bots. So how many of these influencers that like parrot the propaganda of today get all these fake followers that appear to be real, that are just maybe AI generated profiles? I don't know. But I don't have a lot of confidence in social media anymore. Because if you say one wrong thing, they just shadow ban your channel, and you'll never make money, even if you aren't like a bad guy, or you know, if you don't parrot the Western propaganda of these platforms, they just shadow ban your account and deny you earning money. So there's a reason why all the big tech platforms are only inside the U.S. It's been engineered that way, because they control people. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Hey, Raiko, good to see you. Raiko came to my house here, and he put all the heads on my Ethernet cables because he had the tools to do it. It works really good. Thanks, Raiko. So I have a fiber optic internet connection, and then from the fiber optic router in my house, I have Ethernet in the wall to my desk. But the builders of the building never put the ends on the Ethernet cables, and I didn't have the tool to do it, and I didn't want to order a tool to do like 5 of them, so Reco came and did it. So what else are you guys doing? This live stream's been going on 42 minutes, so I'm sorry for the people that are just joining. You missed a lot. Yeah, my internet speed is really fast, Dave. Like, it's really, really good. I can upload a 1.5 gig YouTube video in like 1 minute. Like, seriously, like 60 seconds. So I want to do some 4K videos maybe, and I don't like to do like 4K content because it takes a lot of storage, and like people's fans go on high sometimes on some laptops if they put on 4K. But I have 400 megabit per second upload, so that's just under like 50 megabytes a second. So like YouTube like takes almost no time to upload a video. And I started using DaVinci Resolve, and DaVinci Resolve works really good for YouTube because it spits out in the right format. So it's like a really low, it's a suspiciously low file size, because my videos are like 8 to 16 gigs, and then the final product that DaVinci spits out is like 1.5 or 2 gigs, but the quality is still good. So it's easy, it'll be a lot easier to upload. I used to upload like videos in the original format, and it took forever to encode, and even on an old laptop that's 10 years old, that it almost encodes in real time, DaVinci Resolve. So I like the editing suite really well. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, so MTS, I have nothing but good things to say about it. It was a little frustrating trying to transfer the service from Belgrade down here because they wanted me to sign a new contract, but they wouldn't dissolve the old contract till I signed a new one. And I said, I don't think I can trust this, you know, because I don't want to get stuck in the bureaucracy. And so I kind of gave them hell, and they said, here, send a letter and with your intention. that you are signing this contract to for us to cancel your old contract. And I said, why do you have to cancel the contract? Why can't you just transfer the service? Come to find out, I think they were trying to save me money in the end, but I don't think they could say that through email. Because I don't know, I think it costs like 50 euros or 100 euros to transfer the service, but I would have paid it, and I didn't care. But I only had service for like 1 month in Belgrade before I had to move. So I think they were trying to do me a favor in the end. I never sent them chocolate, but I should. That's still on my list to send that girl chocolate. Because I must have traded like 30 emails. You know, Raiko knows because I looped him in. And, but I think they were also trying to just like get a new contract as well. But I got free installation again, so I didn't care. I just didn't want 2 contracts, you know, to get lost in the system somehow and then them sue my DOO business because I'm not paying on one contract. And the first couple months, the billing wasn't right. They would send me like 3 invoices, and I'm like, why the hell are you sending me 3 invoices? They finally got it right. It's only 1 invoice. It's the right price. And then everything's good. Let me see. Where do you see you in your business in later years? I don't know, you know, it all depends on me, really, like how gung-ho I want to be. I want to switch from, like I said, for people that are just joining this live stream, I want to go from managed services and not really do IT support as much and go more into digital marketing. I think there's more of a market for digital marketing than there is managed services. It's easier to sell. You know, people like to pay for that. People don't really like to pay for managed services. It's something they know they have to pay for, but they don't really like to. And like I said before, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to manage people's technology. I mean, it's easy for me, but I just don't want to do it anymore. I found digital marketing, you know, a lot of people pay just more money for that, and it's easier. You know, and it's actually a very powerful skill to have, to be able to bring businesses leads, because you can start any business you want, and if you can generate your own leads and learn how to sell, then you can be successful at almost anything. So that's my new thing for 2023 is I'm learning digital marketing, and I'm going to try to, I just finished up a project. I'm going to try to get people on retainers for digital marketing. The contrast between Thailand and Serbia seems rather extreme. I've been to Croatia. So I'm not like a total, like a guy that is not happy around, if I'm not around the ocean. So yeah, Thailand and Serbia are extreme, but what I like about Serbia is it's more of a cultural match. So in Thailand, you're always the white guy, the outsider. In Serbia, you kind of match everyone else, and they, you know, they'll naturalize you as a citizen here. That's very important for me. You know, when I was in Thailand, I was starting out still. I didn't know shit. You know, I didn't know anything. I knew about computers and stuff, but I didn't know how to sell or market myself. I didn't know how to get customers very easily. It was actually really tough. If I didn't have a passive income, I probably wouldn't have made it. So in Thailand, I was still, hold on, I'm trying to get rid of this chat. Anyways, in Thailand, I was still like, you know, trying to find myself as a digital nomad, you know, and what I found out coming to Serbia is I want to live in a country where it's a cultural match. Thailand is very nice, but it does get kind of depressing after a while because you're an outsider there. You're always seen as an outsider. So people speak a lot better English here than they do in Thailand as well, so lets you make more friends here. And, you know, becoming, I don't want to continuously have to travel every 6 months or every month and do visa runs my whole life. So that's why I want to nationalize as a citizen here in Serbia, is because I never want to go back to the US, ever, like never. I already know that. I've been out 5 years. I don't ever want to go back. So I need a new home, you know, where I'm not having to leave every month or every 2 months. So Serbia is a great country for that. It's a developing country, I will say that. It has its own problems, but I think the problems with the West are a little bit more severe in the long term. So I want to nationalize and become a citizen here and stay here. I do still want to travel, but I want to travel on a Serbian passport. So I don't really want to use my US passport when I'm traveling. Even if I have to go pay 50 bucks for a visa, I still want to do it just to kind of like show that I can still be a sort of like a semi-nomad on a Serbian passport as well. I don't really want to be a digital nomad anymore. I want to be a professional digital expat. So that means that I want to have a home here in Serbia and maybe Morocco as well and go in between, or maybe in Turkey and go in between. But I see Serbia as my country now. I've been here 3 years almost, and I want to stay here. So, you know, I see a lot of opportunity here. Other people don't, and let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, in Thailand, you also have to deal with like mentally ill expats and foreigners as well. There's some really good people there, but they're kind of far and few in between. People either go there because they like the look of Thai women, you know, because they look like they're 12 years old, and they're alcoholics. You know, some people are just mentally ill. They don't fit in their country, so they go to Thailand where they can kind of escape judgment, you know. I went to Thailand just because it was a digital nomad capital of the world, Chiang Mai. You know, I started out in Bali, didn't like Bali. I probably never want to live in Bali ever again. I'll visit, but I don't ever want to live there. Thailand, you know, if Serbia gets boring or whatever, for a while I might go live in Thailand. You never know. Take some Serbians to Thailand and start a business there. I don't know. But I like Serbia because it's well connected to like the EU, like Europe, and also China and Russia and Turkey as well. So it's not a bad place to be. It's very nice if you can overlook some things, you know. Recently, someone on the remote working subreddit said, "Where should I go? I make $60,000 per year." I said, leave the US. That was my first thing, like get out of the US, you know? And they're like, the first thing they responded to was, well, quality of life is important. I'm like, how ignorant are you that you think that you can only have a good quality of life in the US? You know, I can tell he's never left the US, because if he had $60,000 a year in income and he had ever left the US, he would see like it's much better making $60,000 in Buenos Aires, Argentina, than it is in whatever hellhole he wants to move to that's cheap in the US. So what I also like about being a foreigner in a country is you're kind of like in a bubble, you know? So I'm in a bubble here. I see out of politics here in Serbia, and you know, it helps with my mental health, you know? Like whatever is going on in the US, I can kind of write off now, because I don't think of the US as my country anymore. I think of the US as like a free economic zone that anyone can go to make money, except Serbs. It's kind of fucked up how they'll take unlimited amounts of people from down south in South America into America, but they don't want to take Serbians. Kind of racist. So yeah. But I think it would be good for Serbians to temporarily go overseas to learn capitalism and then come back to Serbia, because they're not learning capitalism from their parents. But definitely return to Serbia, because you can live like a king here, you know, on just 30, 40, 60,000 a year, you know. You can make way more than that, but you can live like a king here, you know. So what I think people will do is they leave Serbia and they go to the West and they get wrapped up in the West, you know. They get a car lease or a loan, they get a mortgage on a house, and then they never want to leave. And their life just kind of goes down the drains, like their soul gets sucked, you know. Like I call the US a system and you're the battery. I don't want to be a battery anymore, you know. So I live in places that leave me alone and let me, like, just leave me alone. Like I pay a small amount of tax here in Serbia and they give me residency, so, and they leave me alone, the most important part, you know. And it's nice. You don't have, like, if you want to build like a house in the village here, there's not like code enforcement looking at satellite images here, you know. Eventually you have to legalize it, I think, if you want to sell it, but you know, there's so many like homes that were just built on the fly here in the villages or in the rural areas, and if you do that in the U.S. now, you get caught because the municipalities and the counties and the states, they start looking at Google Maps to see where people are building out in the middle of nowhere to go find them, you know, for not getting building permits. Stuff like that doesn't happen in developing countries, and that's why I like living in such. I can also go to the hospital here with my debit card, which is very comforting to know. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Why did I delete my last video? I deleted my last video, even though it was really doing really well in the algorithm for some weird reason, is because I deleted the original video I shot and I reshot it because I don't think I did this town justice. So I walked down a street that was quiet so I could talk on the video, but when I came out I didn't show the best part of the town, and I was like, that's kind of unfair, and so I didn't really like it, even though it was trending very well in the algorithm, like better than any of my videos have ever done. I deleted it because I wanted to reshoot it to show the real side of this town. And because I kind of went down an alley and then came out like in a weird location. I was like, this is the town, and like the video ended, and it was kind of like a bad look, you know? So that's why I reshot it. But I definitely think that there's a market for amateur content on YouTube. I think people are starved for it. For example, there's this guy, he lives in San Diego. He does these very high quality travel videos, but he gets like 50,000 views a video, and he was making a video belly aching about he's not getting enough views to make money on YouTube, but he's shooting all this high quality stuff. I made a comment and I actually emailed it to him so like he could hear it. To make sure he got it, I was like, dude, I agree that your content is very cinematic. It's of the highest quality. It's like very high quality. But I said, I think that's the problem. I said, I think people are done with like videos that feel like they go on forever. They want just the first person experience. They don't want to see, they're not going to watch a movie, right? They're going there for a first person experience. I was like, look at your last video compared to all your other videos. I said, it's trending very well. And the reason is because you got to the point in the video, it's not cinematic, and it's shot as a first person adventure. And I said, do more of that content. I said, leave your Sony Alpha A7 at home and take a little GoPro or like a Insta360 1R or an FDR X3000 from Sony and just go on a trip with just that in a MacBook. And I said, you'll do very well. But he never replied to me because he's probably offended. But I put it the nicest way possible. But I was very direct about what was wrong with his content. And I gave him examples. I said, like, when you went to Russia on your Russia trip, you had like this long drawn out conversation that was like faked with this Russian guy saying you're coming to Russia. And I said that was like that felt like it was forever, you know, in the video. And I said that was totally unnecessary. All you had to do was point the camera to your face and say, we're going to Russia today, and get to Russia. You know, you didn't need to like call this Russian guy and do 2 shots for like 5 minutes. I was like, it felt like it drug on forever, you know. But anyways, that was the problem with his content. Let me see what you guys are saying. It wasn't that bad. You could have made an addition. Yeah, I could have, but I decided to reshoot it. Let me see. They're looking at satellite images of here now. Maybe they are now. Let me see. Nice. So yeah, I'm happy here. There's not a lot to do. My physical fitness is going down because of that. I mean, I'm not like fat or anything. I'm pretty muscular because I'm eating like nothing but protein and potatoes all day. I used to eat a lot of fruit. Even though there's a full grocery store with fruit and green markets all around me, I somehow don't get any fruit. So what else, guys? You need to keep chatting or I have to go. This is a nice little town. Everything's good. Time to pull out the blender, I know. It's been put away for a long time. Yeah, there's a lot of Russians that came here and then kind of left because Belgrade got too expensive, and they finally got a clue that they were being scammed. So Russians, I would say there's a lot of them here still, but I don't think the flood is continuing. Chinese people, yeah, they're coming here too, but not in the amount of the Russians. The thing about the Russian people is I really wish they would get out of their their bubble, right? So when Russians move to a country, I've seen this in Thailand, I've seen this in Bali, I've seen this in Serbia. They create these Russian ghettos where there's these communities and they're only Russian. They only have parties and get-togethers for Russian people. They only invite you if you're Russian, and they kind of like hurt themselves by not integrating with other people, like even other foreigners in the same country they don't integrate with. And I think they really put themselves back with opportunities because of that. So I just wish they would integrate more, or at least try to communicate outside of the Russian community. How do Russians earn a living? Well, if you see a Russian traveling and not really showing how they do income, it's probably OnlyFans. I've seen that a lot. So if people can't explain how they're making money, it's probably OnlyFans, to be honest with you. But a lot of them are very intelligent software engineers as well, and they're still employed by Yandex in Russia or Yandex in Belgrade. So they're not all OnlyFans models, but I would say quite a bit of them are that from what I've seen. So, facial recognition is a bitch now. So that's all I'm gonna say. But let me see. Yeah, so the Serbian government, I guess, really likes the Russians here because they bring, they bring income, obviously. They bring more knowledge, more diverse knowledge, stuff like that. I don't mind them. I just don't like them out competing the locals for apartments, or like being flashy with their cash, or creating ghettos where they won't hire a Serbian nanny. They only want to hire a Russian nanny. So I don't like stuff like that. But if they integrate, great. Like I integrate with Serbian people and I have Serbian friends, and I'm not just an American slave driver here in Serbia, But the Russians, they don't integrate well, and that's my only really big beef with them, is just integrate. I saw it in Thailand, saw it in Bali, seeing it here in Serbia, and I just don't like it. And I think they make themselves look bad by doing that. But other than that, that's the only complaint I have so far. Yeah, I don't understand why Russians are so brainwashed about Russia. It's kind of like the same with the U.S. It's very similar. They all, some of them, there was this one guy here, his name was Anton, and he had all of his crypto on the Binance exchange, and I sent him this article about not your keys, not your crypto. And I said, you need to get a Trezor or a Ledger right away and transfer that out of Binance, because who knows what could happen. And he read the article and he freaked out and he bought a Ledger, and he did it. And I said, hey dude, I was like, what, if you have a successful business here, why don't you get residency here? Why don't you set up a company and get residency and just stay here? And this was way before the war. This was in 2020 or 2021. And I said, why don't you explore outside of Russia, and set up a company here and, just stay here and kind of travel from here and make this your home base. It's like, oh, I want to get back to Russia. I like Russia. I love Russia, blah, 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 blah. I love Russian people, blah, blah, blah. And then look what happened. If Anton had listened to me, he would have been kind of immune from all the sanctions. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, so I think Russians are like need to like come out of the eggshell of the Iron Curtain of Russia. However, with that being said, I want to go and I want to travel in Russia, and I want to actually go to Russia and see it myself, and because it looks like a very nice place in the major cities. You hire Serbs as employees or contractor work. So, I don't want to talk about too much in depth. However, if I ever hire a Serbian or if I employ a Serbian, they would be a direct employee of my DOO. They wouldn't be a contractor. So a contractor is a great way to kind of like skate out of the social insurance here, and it's actually. I think it's against the law for a Serbian person to be employed by a company here in Serbia solely as a contractor if they have no other clients. So it would be a direct employee. So let me see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, the thing about like that gets me about Russia is it looks in the major cities, it looks very clean, like almost like a utopia. If you, guys, after this live stream, go through like type in Moscow car driving, you know, and just look at the you know, people put GoPros on top of their cars and just drive around, and it looks like a very nice place, you know. So I'm sure there's not so nice things about Russia as well, but same thing about the U.S. You know, if you don't parrot the U.S.'s propaganda, you know, they send bots after you now. So like, you know, is the U.S. any different than Russia in the propaganda scheme? It's not. It's exactly the same. It's actually worse because they lie. They say we have a democracy in the U.S. and we don't anymore. Or we never did, except maybe the curtain has fallen. But it's very obvious that shady shit is going on in the US, and the US government's behind it. They're using these tech platforms as fronts for censorship, but it's really like the FBI calling someone at Facebook or YouTube saying to shadow ban this guy. And that's unconstitutional. So, but they do it through encrypted apps, so it's not really traceable. Or they have them under a FISA order, you know, so they can't reveal it. So I even called the recent protests here in Belgrade inorganic, because that's what I think they are. It's inorganic, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, Prague is a CIA base. It's huge. It's huge. Take that from me. Romania, Czech Republic, they're CIA controlled directly. So, you know, I'm sure Andrew Tate was arrested in Romania on behest of the US government. Kind of like Julian Assange, you know, he's been charged with very fake crimes, and I think he's still in jail. But on what charge? No one will answer. You know, that's a big problem for democracy, right? So I fully believe the U.S. government was behind Tate's arrest and detainment in Romania, and that's their own citizen, you know. So kind of shady. I you know, people say like, why do you live in Serbia? So I can check the fuck out mentally, you know, and not care, you know. I don't have, you know, 10,000 illegal immigrants, people tying up traffic at 4 p.m. when I'm trying to get home, you know, like I did in Southern California. I don't see illegal immigrants with newer cars than I have because they work for cash and they don't pay any taxes. Don't see that here anymore, you know. What you do see here is you see some people driving very high-end cars that, you know, the import taxes were very expensive for, and I kind of question how they get that money, but they don't bother you, and they're very few and far in between. You know, so I don't want to work my guts out to pay for the defense of foreign nations. I don't want to work my guts out and pay taxes in the U.S. so the CIA can go in and make inorganic protests in other countries to try to force them to come on board with Western policies. I don't want to pay for that. Imagine if the CIA and the military spent all that money internal in the U.S. We could be like Denmark in the U.S. It could be a utopia, but it's not. So I'm very unhappy. I'm actually not even unhappy anymore. I'm above all that, right? So I don't think every day like, oh, you know, I hate this or I hate that. I keep abreast of the news almost solely only by Telegram. So I get like a very unbiased view through Telegram news sources. You know, they link to mainstream stuff sometimes, but I can sort it out in my brain about what's really happening. But that's all I do. I don't even go on like CNN.com or anything like that. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hospice workers from... Yeah, I've heard that before too, about the hospice workers. People wish they worked... Like, what are you working for in the U.S., right? Like, seriously. Like, you're forced into student debt, or you allegedly can't get a job that you can't discharge by bankruptcy. They'll always be with you for the rest of your life in current interest. It's like you're being held hostage. If you don't pay the universities to fund ideology concentration camps, then the corporations refuse to hire you. But I didn't have that problem because my skill set is so so required that like I was able to get pretty good jobs like with no degree. But a lot of people that are like sales drones or something like that, they don't have that, you know, they don't have that the opportunity. I don't know. I only know what's good for me, you know. I never went to college. I don't even have a high school diploma. I never even graduated high school. I checked it out a year early. I said this is BS, and I'm glad I did. My only regret about dropping out of high school was not doing it sooner. I should have done it in middle school when I was in 7th grade. That's when I knew I didn't want standardized education anymore, and I just wanted to educate myself. And I'm glad I did. But I wasted so much time in 8th and 9th and 10th and 11th grade. I should have left earlier. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, pretty much. Dave away. It'll probably be about 2 more years to permanent for me here, because I'm in my 3rd year. So we'll see. Maybe they'll give me citizenship early. Who knows? Let me see. Evidence Channel. Nice to see you again. Thanks for joining. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah. Yeah, I try to tell people, like, you know, if your kids are not doing well in school, take them out. Put them on YouTube. Teach them how to use a CRM. You know, force them to watch business courses on YouTube. They'll learn so much more in like a month than they will in years in school. You know, just on YouTube. How are you dealing with the culture shock? I've actually never been culture shocked in my life, ever. So I understand, like, I travel to different places and they operate differently, so I'm not culture shocked at all, ever. Even when I left the US, I wasn't culture shocked by Indonesians. But to me, Serbia is very similar to America without... it's kind of like America was in the 90s, that's all I'm going to say. It's very good to be a foreigner in Serbia. It's very comfortable. That's why I want to make it my home and become a citizen. It's because it's well worth it. Let me see what you guys are saying here on the chat. Do you intend to form a social connection? I already have a social connection with many Serbs, and I've already done that. What's funny about the Serbs that like have become my friends, I'm almost like they're their bubble now. So I guess they learn a lot from me. Are there a lot of black people here? No, there's not. There are a few actually that are married to Serbs, and there's a white girl in Belgrade that does black hair, and she has like a shop to for the hair extensions. Kika, K-I-K-A is her name, Kika in Belgrade. They do exist here, but they're far and few in between. And they're like everyone else, you know. But I wouldn't say that Serbia is a racist country. You know, I think they give everyone a fair shake. And if you come and you integrate and you act, you know, well here, I think that everything will go okay for anyone that comes. I think they make it hard for certain countries to come here because once you get one, you get like 10,000. So I won't say which ones, but I definitely think that they discourage certain countries, but for good reason as well. You know, this isn't in America. You know, not every country that is historically white has to be in America or be well diverse or multiculturalism. You know, multiculturalism never works in a country, as demonstrated in the UK, as demonstrated in the US, Sweden. It doesn't work. So if you don't want to come here and kind of act like a Serbian does, then stay home. Serbia's not going to change for you. But I will say they're not racist. So if you're black and you want to come check it out, come check it out. But be prepared to find a way to stay here. You either have to get a residence permit by a company, you have to get married, or you have to buy a house. So if you think you're going to come here and work in a restaurant, you're not. You just aren't. Like there's this Filipino girl on the foreign expat groups right now saying, where can I get a restaurant job? And she's saying, employer will give me residence permit. No, they won't. Because if there's not even enough jobs for Serbians here, no one's going to employ you at a restaurant. Unless you want to work for $1.50 an hour or less in Belgrade. So, if you want to be a human trafficked slave or something, there might be a place for you. But don't come to Serbia unless you have money or a remote income. That's my suggestion. So if you're just starting out and you have nothing, go to Chiang Mai. Go somewhere where you don't need a residence permit to stay, like Albania or Georgia. I don't recommend Georgia anymore because there's too many Russians there and it's just too expensive. Albania is a NATO-aligned country and they are discouraging Russia. And if you look at apartment prices in Albania, they're a lot less than Belgrade or even Serbia in general because they're discouraging Russians from coming there and artificially inflating the rents. So if you're just starting out and you have a Western passport, go to Albania and then figure out a way to make money online. And then you can go wherever you want. Once you have like $2,000-3,000 a month coming in, you could go to Buenos Aires, Argentina. You can go to Colombia and get a digital nomad visa if you make 750 USD or more per month. So you have to go to a really low-cost country where you don't have to do visa runs all the time because visa runs are expensive and it does take time. You have to hole up in one of those places. And Nomad Capitalist, Andrew Henderson, has a good video. He has several videos actually about where to go for $1,000 or less. So right now, if you have nothing and you have a little bit of money, get to Albania if you have a Western passport. You don't have to leave for a year, and it's still relatively inexpensive compared to the US. But I will say that there is a guy on YouTube, his name's James something. He promotes Albania like forever. And in one of his videos, he actually said he wants citizenship, and I don't think the Albanian government ever responded. So I don't think that Albania is willing to really naturalize foreigners as much as Serbia is. But that's probably why they don't have the growth Serbia is seeing right now, either. So yeah, you can stay in Albania for 1 year without leaving with a U.S. passport. Then you have to do a visa run. You leave, and then you just come back in. You can do it the same day, and then stay another year. And that's the reason for that is, I think, is because of the Kosovo situation here in Serbia, where, you know, it's like Albanians on a reservation, and the U.S. protects them. And so in exchange, U.S. citizens can stay in Albania for a year. It's probably, you know, they scratch their back and they scratch the other person's back. I think that's why Albania allows U.S. passports to stay a year, is because of the whole Kosovo situation. Because without the U.S. Intervention in the Camp Bondsteel base there, Kosovo probably wouldn't exist. So that's probably why. This is what you guys are saying. Over 20% of Serbia is not ethnic Serb, according to Google. I don't know about that. I see a lot of Serbian people here. And maybe it is growing. I don't know. I don't think it is. Maybe if you include the gypsies as well in that demographic. I don't know. I just kind of do me, you know. I don't really like monitor like what the government's doing here or the statistics of Serbia. Believe it or not, just say, you know, did I make my money today or this week? Yeah, I did. Great. I can go to bed and lay down, or I can go for a walk, or, you know, that's what I do. I make money and mind my own business. And it works for me here, you know, so. Nice. We have many Hungarian, Croats, Romanians, and Bulgarian Montenegrins. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, you're probably right, Reiko. Your perspective on Serbia since you came. Evidence Channel wants to know your perspective on Serbia since you came here. I guess you've noticed massive changes in the prices. I have. Feel foreigners are kind of getting. So, it's interesting that groceries are cheaper in other EU countries than here, right? But we have a lot of, well, at least we did have a lot of agricultural. Like if I go to a liquor store here on the street, they're selling like produce, right? And it's very beautiful produce. But someone told me like a lot of the tomatoes are imported from Albania, but why are they imported from Albania when we grow tomatoes here? You know, who knows? Who knows? I will say Lidl has good prices. The Universal Export below my apartment has decent prices. But yeah, prices have gone up pretty dramatically. But that doesn't affect me here as a foreigner if I'm working with U.S. clients for U.S. wages. I know it affects everyone else, and I do care. But what am I supposed to do about it? You know. But my perspective is that prices have gone up. Like my accountant said, I have to double your monthly fee. You know, he's only charging me 50 euros. Very low work, right, from what I do, because I don't have many invoices per month. And I ask around, and yeah, people are saying I'm paying 10,000 dinar for my accountant. So I said, fine, that's fine, whatever. You've worked for me for 50 euros for 2 years now, and I understand, like, you want to get rid of like your lowest paying clients, so now I pay them 100 euros, you know. But things have gone up in Belgrade with groceries and housing and just everything. So, you know, do I hate his guts for doubling my accounting fee? No, I don't. You know, I understand why he did it. And it's actually really hard to find a reputable accountant here in Serbia that speaks English. So, you know, I think it's still worth, you know, even 100 euros. What city am I in? Kruševac in central Serbia. Someone says, Bruce says they import tomatoes from Albania or Turkey because it's not yet the season for them here. I see. Called Import Mafia. Yeah. I'm just, you know, one guy here in Serbia trying to become a citizen. Can't solve all of the problems here, unfortunately. But I'm happy here. And everyone around me is happy as well, so can't really complain. But yeah. Alright guys, do you have any more questions? Because I gotta go. This live stream's been an hour and a half and it's getting dark. So get in your last questions. We're probably gonna end it in 5 minutes. I haven't been to all parts of Serbia, but when I come back from Thailand, I'll probably buy a car. And then I'll take a YouTube journey around Serbia. Will I be streaming? I'd like to. So I stream or I create content when I feel like I want to create content. I don't just create organic content to have it up on YouTube. I only create content when I feel like I'm being creative today. So I will try. The best thing you guys can do is subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for everything, all videos, all live streams, and then you'll be notified right away when I start live streaming. Because I probably won't do scheduled live streams, but I'll just do them here and there, and you'll have to be a subscriber to get the Dean notification. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. Do you learn some? I've learned very few words, like Nishta, Doberdan, you know, Ciao, Voila. I still have those. If you're in them, you would know that I dropped my videos in them. So I have a Viber group and also a Telegram group, Brad Beckett YouTube. Check it out. Just join it, and then so you won't miss it. You know, it helps if you subscribe and you become a member of those groups. They kind of faded out. People didn't leave them, but they kind of faded out because I didn't create content for a year. So, but I do, when I drop my videos, I did see traffic from them. So people are still joined, people are still engaged. But on Viber or Telegram's probably better. Look for Brad Beckett YouTube. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Seems like more Serbs move from the big cities to countrysides. So during the 2020 situation, village houses at the start were very cheap, but it's getting harder and harder to find a really good village house here because they're getting bought up. They're getting bought up by Serbs. They're getting bought up by Russians, by foreigners. But I think, you know, things will crash because the U.S. economy is headed, you know, it's a train wreck, obviously. They always do something shady to prevent like a big crash. But if there's a big crash, then of course things will get much cheaper. People will be desperate, and that's a good time to have money. Yeah, I don't like to do YouTube videos in the winter here because it looks very shitty in the wintertime, and it kind of is a bad luck. So, I mean, there's like no green on the trees. It kind of looks like very destitute. I mean, it's still a great place to live in the wintertime, but like, it doesn't look great on YouTube. So I like to create content when it's green and sunny outside. Show the happy part of Serbia. All right, guys, make sure, also it will help if you spread my videos, like my my low-cost apartment video or like my Krushevitz video. If you put it on your Facebook so other people like watch it, that is very effective as well. especially if you're a Westerner. Like the best thing you can do is post my low-cost apartment and say this guy pays, you know, $380, which is 350 euros, for this apartment and lives this type of life. We can't even get fiber optics. But U.S. aid is paying for fiber optics to be installed in villages in Thailand, but not in the U.S. cities. So all your tax money is being exported. So I can get, you know, a fiber optic internet service to a small town here in Serbia, but most major U.S. cities can't get it. Why? Because they're paying for all these other countries, sometimes they're third world, to get fiber optic service before you. Even Morocco has fiber optic service, not everywhere, only in Casablanca, but like they have it, you know, and you can't even get it in cities. So yeah, like feel free to stir people up on your YouTube or on your Facebook walls, saying like, you know, this American, you know, you're paying $1,400 to live with crack addicts on your doorstep, but this guy is living in a cultural homogenous world for about $1,000 all in, and you're paying $1,400 a month to live with human feces and crack addicts, you know, in places like San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York City. So it's okay. Those are slaves to the system that remain there under those circumstances, and that's all they'll ever be, because that's all they ever know. And you know, can't do anything about it. Can only show them the world outside the U.S. You know, if it hadn't been for YouTube, I wouldn't have moved out of the U.S. either. I never thought about moving out of the U.S. actually until I started seeing YouTube videos and expat videos and digital nomad videos. So YouTube, you know, videos are a direct reason why I left the U.S. and why I left, and I was so confident because I could already see how it was outside the U.S., you know, and I was very confident when I left. I was not scared at all. I felt like I was going to Las Vegas on a weekend trip. You know, I was moving to Indonesia. You know, a lot of people had different, you know, they're scared for me. They were worried. They thought I was going to fail and come home. Never did. So if you're watching this and you're paying too much for your apartment or your home in America, get rid of it, move overseas. Buenos Aires is a place I would look at very carefully right now as an American, especially since you can get naturalized there in 2 to 3 years. So it doesn't seem like a bad deal to me. Buenos Aires, Argentina. David Way said $20,000 for this ranch house on 1.3 acres. Very, very good. Even if you have to renovate here in Serbia, it's dirt cheap. It's dirt cheap to renovate if you have a U.S. income. Yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, B. Blair, whoever you are. What you need to do is sell everything. Like, start selling everything right now. Like today, just go around your apartment or your house or even your bedroom and just take pictures of your furniture, post it on Craigslist, post it on OfferUp, post it on Facebook Marketplace, and just take whatever anyone will give you for it, right? And even though that you don't have a plan to move out of the U.S., start slimming down your stuff, and that's a signal to the universe that you want to move, and it'll show you a way. Trust me, it will show you a way. I highly believe in The Secret. The secret is, if you think something and you take action towards it, the universe will provide. So, start selling your stuff. Start getting, I'm not gonna say sleep on an air mattress, but if you have your bedroom down to just, you know, clothes in the closet and like a single mattress, you know, you also cannot have any expenses in the U.S. like reoccurring. So don't go get a big storage unit. They're very expensive right now in the U.S. When I left the U.S., my storage unit started at $40 a month, but now it's at $133. So don't get a storage unit. Sell everything. Get rid of all the crap. You don't need anything. Take a MacBook, not a PC, but a MacBook. Go to Albania. get a cheap apartment and start learning every single day about digital marketing or remote income somehow. It's different for everyone, what you do, but don't party, don't drink alcohol. Just every single day, boom, 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 and you'll eventually make it. You will. And that's what I suggest. You don't need like a P.O. box that forwards your mail. That's bullshit, right? So, you know, like these expat mailbox places, they're like $30 a month, and they scan your mail for you. But why the hell would you want that? What are you going to be getting in the mail that's so important? A notice from the IRS? Return to sender, please. You know, the best way to exit the system in the U.S. is to become uncontactable. So, in my opinion, if like certain agencies, they send out notices to you and they get returned, or they send out notices that need your signature and those get returned, I think that bureaucracy in those agencies are so bad, they're going to forget about you for a long time. So that's why I don't subscribe to any mailbox services in the US, because I don't care. I want everything to get returned to sender, because nothing good is going to be coming. Let me see what you guys are saying. Am I in any kind of debt? No, I'm not. And if you are in the US, here's the thing. Is get on YouTube and learn about asset protection. Even if you're in debt, if you leave the US and you're not on W-2 in the US, they can't really even sue you legally because they can't serve you. Even if you did get sued in the US and a judgment placed against you and on your credit, who the hell cares if you're operating on a cash business overseas through an overseas company that's connected to your residence permit somewhere else? There's really not much they can do to you. Seriously. I'm not afraid of being sued in the US at all. There's no reason for anyone to sue me, but if there was, you know, I'm not afraid of being sued. Because would I show up to court? No, because there's no way they could have served me because I'm in Serbia. So if you're $20,000 in credit card debt and you don't have a W-2 job, and even if you have a W-2 job, because they can garnish your wages if you're a W-2 employee in the US, make it better for the company you work for. So you don't have to pay my health insurance anymore. You don't have to pay for workers' compensation insurance. Just make me a contractor, not a 1099 contractor, but go overseas, create a company somewhere, and then they have a contract with that company, and then they wire that company money once a month, and that company pays you out locally, and that's how you survive. So in California, credit card debt, they can't sue you after 4 years. So if you had left right before COVID started, that's 2 years of, you know, like total chaos, you know? So in California, like if you're a California resident, they can't sue you for credit card debt after 4 years. It's pretty easy to stay out of California for 4 years, or in the US. And what I recommend you do is don't have accounts at Bank of America or Chase or Wells Fargo or any of the big banks, because they have branches in California. So if you get sued in California, they can take money out of your bank account. I'd go down to Texas, right? And I would find a small community bank that is only a regional in that state. And I would move all my money there in the US until I can find a bank overseas, like TBC Bank in Georgia, or, you know, Raiffeisen in Serbia, or something like that. Let me see. Lure told me secondhand debt collection doesn't have paper receipt. Yes, exactly. So when I was younger, I actually got really mad because I had like all these shitty little like cell phone accounts or whatever on my credit. And what I learned was I learned how to do debt collection to learn how to fight them. And I was very successful. So what I learned was that there's these debt exchanges that they only trade the information of the debt through Excel spreadsheets. And then they load them into their collection software and they start harassing you. And you know that you owe that debt, right? But you don't know that the company calling you doesn't have the paperwork to back it up. And then, unless it's a very large amount, they won't do any research, and they're legally required to if you send them something called a debt verification letter. They're legally required to send you proof of the debt. That means they have to contact the original lender, wait for that to go through. They have to assign a manager to that case. A lot of these debt collection agencies, they buy the debt for, 50 cents on the dollar if it's new debt, or if it's, debt from like 4 years ago, it's like 10 cents on the dollar. So if they buy like a $200 cell phone account where I owe like T-Mobile $200, and they bought it for 50 cents or 10 cents on the dollar, do you think they want to like have a manager have to chase T-Mobile for the original contract? No, they don't. So what they do, 100% of the time I've sent a debt verification letter, they have just sent me a letter back saying we're deleting this from all the credit bureaus. And that's how I cleaned up like 10 collection accounts when I was like 24 from my, because I had a very hard life. A lot of people don't know that, but I would get a summer job, I would need a cell phone, I'd get a cell phone, you could only sign contracts back in the day in the US. And then I would intend to keep it, but my summer job would end, and then I wouldn't find another one, and I'd eventually lose the account. So, I had like 10 collection, not just cell phone, like I had a cable modem I didn't return, stuff like that. But I fought it all off, and I was very successful. But overseas, no one checks your credit for an apartment in Thailand. No one cares what your credit is in Serbia. Your U.S. credit doesn't affect you outside the U.S. unless you want to depend on U.S. credit cards or something like that. So you have to make a decision. If you have $20,000 in credit card debt, do you really want to be a slave to the system and just barely pay it off every month, or do you want to get the fuck out? Because I recommend getting the fuck out. But you have to learn how to move money so it can't be garnished in the US. And that means creating a foreign company and signing contracts with your clients through that foreign company. Not as Brad Beckett in America, but as such and such DOO in Serbia. It's actually, my Serbian company is a Serbian entity, right? It has the same rights as a Serbian citizen. It can own property. When I can't own certain property in Serbia, my company can, because it's considered like a Serbian citizen almost. So U.S. debt, even though I'm working for the Serbian company, my debt in the U.S., if I ever had any, wouldn't affect it. And the courts can't really. No, I can go back to the U.S. I don't have any problems there. But if you leave your debt behind in the U.S. and you can't stay out of the U.S. for at least 7 years, that might be a problem. Yeah, but I think you can still find places to live in the U.S. that are don't require credit checks, right? The U.S. is becoming more and more expensive to live, and everyone's credit is declining because they're missing payments. So if everyone's credit's bad, how can they, the corporate landlords you don't want to deal with. You want to go to small towns in America and rent from ma and pa, okay? Like maybe this, a small town outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. If you flash some cash in front of someone in a small town, of course they're going to let you move in. If they talk to you for 5 minutes and they see that you're not going to fuck up their house, if you want to compete for very expensive housing in Los Angeles or New York City, yeah, you're going to need good credit. But this is for people that are done with that, permanently, You can go back to the U.S., just live in a different state. Bank only in a different state, It's not a big problem. I think everyone needs to learn about asset protection. I really do, because you can even go bankrupt in the U.S. Just file for bankruptcy on your way out. That stays on your credit for 10 years, though, right? But what if you just went overseas and you ignored everything for 7 years? It legally has to be deleted from your credit, unless they get a judgment against you. But they can't, because they can't serve you. So I'm just saying, I know people that have abandoned their debt in the U.S. and they have had zero problems. So how long am I going to be in Serbia? Probably forever. Like, I'm probably going to go overseas on trips, but I'm always going to return to Serbia. Because like I said at the start of this live stream, I don't think of America as my country anymore. I'm kind of a hostage to the passport because I don't have $150,000 to go buy a Caribbean passport. So yeah, stop paying your debt in the U.S. and move overseas. And you know, there's ways to get paid without having your wages garnished. Now, if you own child support, that's a different story because they can suspend your passport. So pay your child support because it's you know, that's your kid. But if you have major debt in the U.S., either file for bankruptcy right away, or just move overseas for 7 years and ignore it. And legally, it has to be deleted within 7 years. But you can't make any payments. Now, that's the caveat. Look for making even $1 payments or even a couple cents payments to show goodwill is a trick of collection agencies in the U.S. It's a trick because it resets the statute of limitations. So if you pay on your debt, even $1, it resets it to another 7 years. Don't do that. Don't pay anything. It's kind of a protest in the way against the current system to abandon your debt in the U.S. and just, you know, leave. I highly encourage everyone to do it. So that's it. That's my life so far in Serbia. Let me show you the plaza I'm in. Or grab your kids in remote village in Serbia? Yeah, but like, Dave, with what you're spending in Serbia to live, you could probably come to some financial agreements as well. I don't know if a Serbian village is a great place for Western kids to grow up because I think they would be like very ignorant if they grew up there. I think they need like more of a city place at first, but when they're adults, you know, maybe they can consider a village. Do I believe in capitalism? I do, but like, I think it's gotten out of control. I think we're kind of at the end of capitalism. So, I mean, I'm still a capitalist. That's why my life is very comfortable in Serbia. But I'm only a capitalist because I'm forced to be. It's either be a capitalist or starve and die. So. AI is going to kill a lot of the useless eaters. You know, the people that write copywriting or code. You know, you already see a lot of these large companies getting rid of these people. I think that life is going to be very hard if you're not multifaceted. That's why I'm pivoting from IT support and managed IT services, to digital marketing, because I can see that the market is much hotter in the digital marketing arena than it is managed IT services. So while I started out in managed IT services, I really want to continue on with digital marketing, kind of phase out the managed IT services. So I already realized the market's changing, and I'm changing my skill set. A lot of people refuse to pivot. You know, they're copywriters today writing, you know, articles, but they're not pivoting their skill sets for the current challenges ahead of us where I am. That's why I always win overseas, is because I can see, like, I'm not stubborn, you know. I can say like, oh, like IT support isn't very well respected, and a lot of people, the sales cycle is very long, and a lot of people just don't want to pay for it anymore. Whereas everyone needs leads for their business. So if I can get people to pay me to bring leads for their businesses and learn how to do it, I can create businesses and just generate leads for that. So lead generation and digital marketing, I think, is much hotter right now than IT support. Montenegro is a lot about tourism, and that didn't go very well for them during 2020. So I don't recommend Serbia like get on the tourism, so to say. But I think bringing people here that are good in IT is a good idea, because there'll always be IT jobs. But for me, I can make money way faster doing digital marketing. So that's what I've been learning. So what else do you guys have to say? I have to go soon, so let's wrap it up. Yeah, the more people move in, the more expensive it'll be, but what do you do? That's a problem that has been going on since the Roman Empire. What you do is you get some skills and you move to the next place. So that's my recommendation, is learn how to live around the world, not just in one country. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Everyone, please subscribe, please like, and hit the bell icon so when I go live, you'll get a notification so you don't miss half the live stream. But I gotta go now. Gotta pay for my stuff and get home and eat dinner. Ciao for now. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.